my loves, welcome back to our channel. We are back. We're trying to get on a schedule for you guys, but so much is really happening in our life, so y'all gonna get these videos when y'all get them, okay? So welcome back to our channel. I'm Zar. This is my beautiful husband Joe, and we are coming back to talk Ready to Love. I guess this is episode 2. I guess the first episode was the
matchmaking ceremony.
The one where they pick the people or whatever the case may be and kind of introduce you to everybody, which was really kind of cool. But I guess let's jump right on in because I feel like that's what they did.
Yeah, they did.
I feel like this season, the biggest elephant in the room is that people are talking about how this season isn't as good looking as previous seasons. So first I want to know, what do y'all think? Bust down.
I agree.
I've seen a few bangers on this season. Like, maybe not the men. I haven't seen any men that I'm like, oh, okay. But I've seen, outside of Walter, but I've seen, like, the women, some really beautiful women on here. So,
I haven't. So,
I don't know why he liked this. But, but I think we got something that's going to happen this season. So, it opens up. Everybody's meeting one another. I need to talk about the things that stand out to me, okay?
Yeah.
Because I didn't take no notes, so we just going to shoot the shit here, all right?
Well, it was kind of a free-for-all. So, it wasn't really a lot of structured things going on.
That's a fact.
I think they need to fix that.
And we had that conversation. When did we watch this? Yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
We had that conversation yesterday where we were like, you know, damn, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? What's the day?
It was Sunday.
Oh, but look, I'm having a real moment. Like, what day is it, bro?
But you focused on the wrong thing.
I am focused on the wrong thing. It just hit me funny. It just hit me. Okay. But we were talking about this, watching it. Like, I feel like that first episode should be far more structured than what it is. Because it almost is like a pack of hyenas, like, surrounding their, like, prey.
That's definitely what it is.
And and to me, it doesn't really give everybody an even chance without it being like, oh, you talk to me, you talk to me, you talk to me. Like, I think that the first part of that day should be speed dating.
I think,
and then you can break off and talk to whoever you vibe with.
I think these people need help. Like I mean it in a way of like, they're clearly coming to the show to say, you know, take the wheel. I need help finding my match or whatever. I've been doing it myself, and some of them have even said it in their own confessionals. Hey, I've been doing this myself. And my picker is off. I keep going after the same people. I like the bad girls. I like the bad boys or whatever. So if we know that they need help, let's help them. Let's not just throw them in a big room and say, go, film. You know what I mean?
Right. Because the reality is that none of these people have any issues dating. They've all said that, right? So I think that with the missing piece to Ready to Love is that it should be more actual matchmaking going on. Yeah. Like, we have these people here based on certain criteria. We think that you may be matched with boom, boom, boom. And let's look at that, because that's where I think the deeper connections are going to come from. Because Uncle Tommy opens it up like, we had 3 successful seasons. How?
Yeah, where are the successful
Where's
Ready
the
to Love
success?
couples? Yeah.
Where's the success? They had the nerve to try out the guy and the girl. I do not know these people's names. Y'all know who I'm talking about from the previous season.
They was on there. If you watched the matchmaking thing,
y'all know who I'm talking about.
Last season.
They had the nerve to try them out and then come to find out they ain't no longer together or whatever the case may be. So the whole thing is just really why are people still signing up for this?
To get on TV. I think a lot of people, there are always going to be a small few to me that actually have pure intentions of actually finding somebody and needing help doing so. And I think the more we get deeper into this social media age, this reality TV age, the more disingenuous the participants in these type of shows are. The more they're there to get their likes up, to get their name out there.
No matter how old they are.
No matter how old they are. Shade, you know what I mean?
Or shade. But no, I think you're absolutely right. I think that it's something to that. And I'm saying all this because it's just really a lot of this is getting a little bit disingenuous to me. You know what I mean? Like, the thirst, the hunger, like, these people are starving. And it's just, and I don't believe they really are in real life. Like, I believe that there is a desire for love. And I think that in order for this show to be just an ounce, not even an ounce, leaps and bounds better, right? Because this is a fantastic concept. But I think that where they are lacking is they give these people no guidance. If they, like, let's keep it 100, they would be in a relationship together if guidance wasn't something that they needed.
Yeah.
They would already be with somebody. So they thought that they are single to the extent that they will go on TV and declare that they single and need a man or a woman. So there is a certain percentage of desperation. Yeah. Right? Can we say that? Or is that too much?
No, I think that's accurate. I just think that they need somebody to actually be holding their hands through this process, right? Especially just in the beginning, right? Somebody I liken it to the there's like this insurance commercial where the guy is walking around with these people and he's trying to get them to not turn into their parents.
The best commercial ever.
It's hilarious. So they're in the store and he's like, you don't need to pick that up and hand it to the guy. He works here. He can get it himself. Like, you don't need to repeat your order back to the waitress. Like, stuff like that. Like, I think they need somebody to say, you shouldn't be sitting down with this man and telling him your whole life story in the first 5 minutes and crying on his shoulder and telling him how
Sabrina,
he meant the world to you and you never been able to feel like this. It's like, that was a red flag for him. Like, I'm sure you guys won't be talking much moving forward. Like, we need somebody to help them and go, let's not do this right now. They can just jump in maybe in the scene. Maybe that can be pretty exciting. Like, just let them talk and have somebody say, no, we're not going to do this. And then cut
let's shift some things up.
Yeah.
You come over here and talk to this person.
Yeah.
It opens up with Aisha. Scroll down. Aisha, Sabrina, and what's the guy from the army, guys? Him. Tyrone. Okay, this part, cringe-worthy. One thing, this woman comes in. She said she couldn't wait to tell people that she was half black and half Korean. She really couldn't wait. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, she led with it.
She led with it. But then when the bull, this is the amount of lies. The amount of lies that y'all tell. Y'all don't really be ready for somebody to check y'all on, like, y'all, like, you come in, you lead, you have the Korean flag on your back.
With Korean, like, lettering.
Yeah. But you don't speak no Korean?
Yeah. And then he wasn't even really trying to call her out. He was just like going with it. Like, oh, okay. Exactly. He's like, okay.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Was that not weird?
That was super weird. But it didn't surprise me after we saw her on camera for a little bit longer. It didn't surprise me that that's what she did, because she just strikes me as that type of kind of nutty person.
And she is a nice looking woman. So I can understand anybody being like,
she's going to be very generous with these people all season. And I'm not. So let's just establish that.
You did. I think she's a nice looking woman. I think it's something to like her personality. She seems really bubbly, really nice. But I did think that you know what it is for me? When I watch certain things and I watch women flirt, when women come off too
thirsty,
strong, it makes me uncomfortable. Why is that?
It makes everybody uncomfortable, including the guys in the room that they're talking to.
But you like a little assertiveness.
We talked about this last season.
Yeah.
Being assertive is very different from being thirsty.
But it's a line.
There is a line. And there's an art form to walking that line. And a lot of people fall in the ditch.
Damn.
In the abyss
not a ditch.
of thirstiness. And they never make it out. But I think a lot of people trip on that line trying to be assertive and trying to be aggressive in a sexy way. And there is a way to do that. But more often than not, people fall flat on their face trying to do that.
I agree. And I think when she met Walter and like, you compliment him. Like, I thought it was funny because she was like, I'm glad to see it ain't no Beijing here. I almost died. Rolled around on the floor and on the ground. Okay, that was a little too much for me. Because sis, I understand. Like, stop it. But when Walter came in and she was like, "Ooh, oh, the salt and pepper beer," I just was like, sis. First of all, let's keep it 100. Walter already getting that in the street, so I don't think that that's maybe what you need to lead with somebody. Because you ever around somebody who is good looking.
You never
and not to say that you don't need to compliment them, but
you don't need to lean into that. You never need to lean in, especially people, if you know somebody, if obviously, full disclosure, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? We can go with that, right?
That's a fact.
But we all can acknowledge, like, some people are a little bit more blessed than others, right? Most people can acknowledge that, right? Yeah. So if you're in a room and you think that this person is the most, this person is like your Beyonce, whatever, pick your favorite, Halle Berry, whatever, right? You don't need to go over to Halle Berry and the first thing out your mouth is to tell her how beautiful she is. That's the last thing you need to lead with, especially as a man, because guess what?
Everybody's telling her that.
Every dude she ever talked to in life, that's been their first thing out their mouth. So most of those women take notice to you by completely not even acknowledging that on the onset, because it's like somebody walking up to somebody with no legs and commenting on it. Like, they're over it. Like, they've heard it before.
But I don't want to say that, because
I'll say it. It's true. It's true. I've experienced it.
You're not from your
perspective. As a man, I've experienced it.
But I'm saying, as a woman, women do like men to say. I don't want to.
No, I said don't lead with it. Do not lead with it. Like,
but I'm saying you do got to mix it up in the conversation.
9 times out of 10, the first thing that every man that's walked up to said woman hears is a comment about how beautiful she is or how bad she is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be the guy that piques her interest. And I've seen it. I've also experienced it.
No, I think, I guess the only reason why I want to push back is because that's not the issue to me. You complimenting somebody is not the issue.
That's not the issue to me either. I said don't lead with it. Like we just said, Sabrina walked up and was, "Oh, your beard and your this and that." Like, that's what I'm saying. You do not need to lead with that.
Yeah, that is what I'm speaking to. Like, I'm saying, like, the overwhelming, he gonna get that all night. And quite frankly,
that's what I'm saying.
Know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Especially a woman in a club full of men, especially intoxicated men. Guess what she gonna get? I didn't say don't say it. I said don't lead with that, and don't let that be the hill that you're gonna die on. Don't spend 10 minutes talking about how good she looked in her dress and
she did, and she ended up crying on his shoulder.
That part too,
and it got really, really odd. But I really think that Sabrina is fascinating, and that we need to watch her, because I think something about her feels off to me. And it might just be the vibe. Like, it might just be that open vibe. Like, I think
she feels extra to me. Extra thirsty.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. So let's go on down and talk about, where everybody at? Oh, they up. Who I want to talk about next? What other things stuck out to me? Let me tell you who I really, really liked, and she did not get the respect that she deserved. Is it Tissia?
I guess it's Tissia or Tissia.
I liked her. And a lot of people had issues with the questions that she was asking, and the fact that she was, a little bit forthright with how she was feeling, where she is in her life, and just being straight up, like, what are you here for? What are you doing? Whatever the case may be. But I thought, as a grown woman, let me tell you something. As a grown woman, once you're in your 30s, going into like your mid 30s or whatever, you're late, I think that you're in a space where you can straight up say, like, I want this. I want it in 6 to 9 months. You don't provide it in 6 to 9 months, you can leave. Period. I don't think that you got to be dealing with nobody extra long or whatever the case may be. And I think that the conversations become different the older you get, because who has this kind of time? We in the fourth quarter. Isn't that what Kevin Hart said?
Well, that's no.
We in the third.
Cheeto said Kevin Hart was taken aback by it. There is this is why we need the experts. This is why we need somebody to hold hands, right? Because there is a line to walk where you don't want to be too heavy just meeting somebody in the first 5 minutes. So there's a way to finesse this conversation to where you're not being super, super deep and because that's a turn off too.
Yeah, because it does come off disconnected.
Yeah.
And like not really being present in the moment.
Because then it's like, are you interviewing me?
Yeah.
Like somebody said, it felt like I was in an interview.
Well, I think he's a liar. So I don't. Something about his spirit gives
who's the liar
to me. No, it wasn't him.
No. They said Lamont. It felt like Lamont was interviewing them. One of the girls said that.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about who was the guy? Him. What's his name? Carrington. She had a conversation with Carrington, and I'm just like, if you really into a John, like really into a girl, and you like meet her, even if it's the first, she could ask you anything, and you gonna keep answering her questions because you want to keep her there. You know what I mean? Like, and like we gotta stop pretending like that's not a thing. Like, and I just thought it was kind of like he was saying like I've been in situationships or whatever the case may be, which is really that's true. You know what I mean? But I thought it was really fascinating about how he described her. I just didn't think that was.
I didn't think her questions
was accurate.
I didn't think her questions was too much though.
It wasn't.
And getting back to like their actual interaction, I don't think she was guilty of doing that. Like
that's what I'm saying. Too heavy, something about him is.
But then again, it's also we talk about this in the Married at First Sight reviews. We also are watching snippets of hours.
Stop doing that.
It's true. We got it because it comes back. It comes back to prove certain stuff to us. It's happened before, right?
No, but I don't like it.
It's still true. It's a fact. Like we're still watching a snippet of hours and hours and hours of footage, right? Yeah. So we have to give them a little bit of grace if somebody says my encounter with them was this. Their encounter on camera might have been a minute and 30 seconds, but their encounter in the actual scene might have been 30 minutes, right? So we got to give them a little bit of grace with that. That's all.
The only reason why I'm not giving the grace is because she turns around. She has. Why are you laughing? You said all that, and I said no. The only reason why I'm not giving the grace is because then she turns around. Ticia turns around, has the same kind of conversation with Walter. Well, what's wrong with you? Why you ain't married? You handsome? You this? What's going on? And he straight up tells her about the issue, about his wife and how she passed away. And let me tell y'all something. And high key, y'all won't think this is bad, but can I say it? Can I say what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Y'all won't think it's bad, but can I say it? Walter has told this story to every single woman he's met because he know he's gonna get some pum pum after that. He already know. It's something about hearing that a man was in love with his wife, okay? And then she passes away. That strikes you in a way that you just like, come here and lay in my bosom.
But
that's like,
but to Walter's I guess defense in that situation.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm just saying.
He was asked. He didn't leave with her like Sabrina, oh, I'm Asian, but not really. Like,
could you imagine?
No, because I would have never. People like Sabrina carry a certain energy, and I wouldn't be caught in a long conversation with anybody like Sabrina.
Hilarious. That might be true. And maybe to your point, I'm not even faulting Walter for his answer. I thought it was wonderful. I thought him opening up like that was so beautiful and was so wonderful to watch. And watch a man be vulnerable and speak with conviction about a situation that happened to him prior to. I thought he's my favorite. Like, he's absolutely my favorite. And I think that he is ready to love from this one episode. However, I also think that sometimes it's hard to release the vows of your holdup. Like, sometimes you shackled to it.
What are we talking about?
Something about him gives the energy that I get from him is not monogamous energy. And that might be because he was in a monogamous relationship.
We also got some side insight on Walter because we know somebody who knows Walter and they said that he was a fuckboy. Pretty much.
He didn't tell me that though.
That's what, yes, he did. He basically said like...
he might have said it, but I didn't hear him when he said it.
Maybe, yeah. But he basically said like he was a wild child. Like, you know what I mean?
Well then, am I lying? Am I lying?
We don't know yet, but...
We don't know yet. But I do think that, all that aside, I think that in every conversation he had with every single woman, he was super present in the moment. And that I appreciate.
Yeah.
That I super appreciate it. Talking about being present in the moment or no, let's talk about Corey. This is the gym owner that went around and asked every single woman.
He was last year's
Troy. We did this the other night.
I know. He was last year's Troy, where Troy just went around kissing everybody, saying the same thing. He was taking everybody on trips. Corey did the same thing. And Corey is going, basically, he's going to have the same fate as Troy. He just missed out on it this season because Lamont is not very attractive. He's not
but Lamont is not ugly.
So that's the reason why he's still there. Otherwise, Troy is on his way out of here.
I'm laughing at calling him ugly because our friend, when we was watching it, he said, "Oh, so y'all just kicked the ball because he ugly."
Yeah, that was it.
Because literally, and then that's another thing too, right? That I feel like somebody needs to talk about. Some of these women didn't feel like it was a big deal that he went out and went around and asked all the women.
No, almost all of them on camera clearly felt like it was a big deal because they was annoyed by it and there was a whole scene about it. It came down to Corey versus Lamont, and Lamont lost on style points.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
And typically that's as goes life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think the same thing happened to Libba. Libba was the same. She was a casualty of the physical, pretty much.
But my thing about Libba, first of all, I liked Libba's personality. Somebody said that she was a little too bubbly. What do that mean?
She was thirsty. Libba has like a thirsty energy, very similar to Sabrina.
Okay. But the only difference is that Sabrina is aesthetically pleasing. Right, exactly. And Libba could be cute. I think Libba is wearing the wrong... That wasn't nice.
I'm just like,
that was not
what
nice.
What are we talking about?
That was not nice. I think Libba... First of all, anybody could be pretty. If the Kardashian Jenners haven't taught y'all anything...
That's not true.
It's that you not ugly, sis. You are poor. You are poor. You are poor. Look at some of these people and the transformations they make because they got money. It is clear to me that all she need to do is take her time and get somebody to do things.
Well, if you just buying a new face, that's different. You know what I mean? Like you're not improving your house when you just buy a new house. Like you didn't do home improvements, right? So
no, that is a home improvement. It's still my face. I'm just improving.
No, it's not. Some of these Jones bought a whole new face, body, a bosom, all of that. That's not a home improvement. Home improvement is I take this room, I gut it, I paint it, and now it's better. Home improvement is not I put this house on sale and then bought a better one. That's not home improvement.
No, that's not what they did.
That is what they did.
That's not what they did.
Kylie Jenner has a whole new face, bro.
First of all, we're digressing.
I'm saying, like, you can't say that you improve yourself when you just bought a new body. She bought new lips, a new nose, a new bosom, a new butt.
All right, babe. All right.
Like,
so what I'm getting at though is that Libba really did kind of. I would argue Libba doesn't have black girlfriends, and that's only because she didn't get her teeth whitened.
What? What? I'm not ready for this.
She didn't get her teeth whitened before she got on the show, okay? And if you know me, I'm all about the Tifa, okay? And all these people was ready, and she looked very unprepared. She had the chalky makeup. Where do they even sell chalky makeup anymore? Like, is that a thing? Did you say
it's out here in the streets? Yes.
Listen, I don't wear chalky makeup. Who are you looking at?
We just had this conversation about how somebody we saw had makeup that looked like you could just do this. We talk about this all the time.
If we're not talking about you, if you think we talking about we be talking about somebody else.
We are talking about somebody else.
We talking about somebody else, but I did think it was really sad that she kind of got kicked off. But I want to talk about this young woman, Courtney. Courtney is the one with the big hair, guys. All right, I know it's so messed up that it's just 50 million of these motherfuckers.
I know. Everybody got to be going through the same thing, trying to keep up with these people in the first couple episodes.
It's annoying, but Courtney is a fascinating egg, and I'm curious to watch her as the season goes. One, she's a beautiful young woman, but something about her. I'm always annoyed when women talk, like when women are like, bossy, or you need to do this. The other woman on the first episode, go there, was speaking to something like this. Zadia, which is a beautiful name, Zadia. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. But we do not care. We do not care. Me and my girlfriend had a conversation today. I said, listen, I've been picked up. No lie, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. In a Maybach on the bus stop. Okay? So I know that nobody cares. They do not care. You can still find a high value man, or whatever the case may be, whatever Kevin Samuels be saying to you hoes, without all of that. They do not care. They do not care. And the only man who really care about what you got is the man that's trying to go half.
Or he's trying to be supported, fully supported, not halfway supported.
You can't possibly, why does that matter? And it's something about her energy. Even she said, Courtney, she was like, yeah, I can't take no shy man, which some people can, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's something to being around somebody and they have demure energy, especially a man. Why? I don't know about y'all, but I do not like men who are have to be the center of attention.
What's it? Corey?
Like Corey.
Who literally walked around to everybody in the same space. And I mean, and then this is part of what we was talking about earlier about putting on for the cameras. Mm-hmm. Because I think what Corey did, he would have never done if there wasn't a bunch of cameras and crew and security around. Where he walked up to the one guy, told the girl to stand up, and while she was already having the conversation with another dude, which is violation in itself. And if they were probably somewhere else in the back of a club, you would get worse than cursed out. He would have hit you. You know what I mean? And he'd have been rightfully so. Regardless of if he even knew this John or not. You would have got teed up if he was anywhere else. He would have no man is going to let you just walk up to somebody who he's clearly having an intimate conversation with and say, stand up right next to him and say, well, you can leave him and come with me. We should go out this weekend. She's like, I don't even know who you are. He's doing this. That to me was for show. That to me was all for the cameras. And I think we start to see more of people doing contrived things just to get attention and just to get people talking about them.
I think, though, in his defense, and I'm not really defending him, I just want to offer Angel's advocate. I think that there is something to the practice of being that. What's the
thirsty?
Word? I don't think that's thirsty.
That's thirsty in every way. It's a thirsty for attention.
No, I'm saying in a Shiloh, in if it's just one person he does that to, right? That's not thirsty to me.
He did it to everybody.
That's what I'm saying. If it's just one person, that to me is not thirsty. The problem herein lies is that he did do it to everybody. But I do think it's something very masculine, and I think it's...
How are we trying to twist this into a positive attribute for Corey?
I'm not trying to twist...
Because I hear what you're saying, but that's not what he did.
No, I do... What I'm trying to say is that I do think it is a positive attribute that he is confident enough to walk up to anybody and say what he needs to say.
No, that's not being able to read the room. There's nothing positive about anything that Corey did. Okay. Nothing positive about it. That is being very attention
I was trying to play Angel's advocate.
Well, you didn't do a good job of it.
That wasn't nice to me.
That was nice. And I think you should pick somebody else to maybe give that grace to, because Corey is not deserving of that at all.
I don't feel like I really met any other men tonight.
Well, it was because it was a lot of zeroing in on the drama and zeroing in on them walking around in circles, falling on their face in these different encounters with people.
Oh, let's talk about different encounters. Let's talk about Camille weird self. Camille is fascinating. So when I went back and watched the first episode, Camille had been engaged several times. And I don't see any issue with that. I've lived a full life, so I get it. But I do think that something about her, we always talk about men who have commitment issues. She's a woman with commitment issues.
She gotta be.
I think, yeah. I hate to say yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think her ability to imprint on a man within 5 seconds of meeting him is fascinating. So she met the guy. What was his name? This guy was Cornelius. Okay? And they didn't even know each other long enough for him to know that her name started with a K and not a C. Okay?
Yeah, that was weird, too. Somebody should have popped in and been like, he wouldn't know your name or how to spell it.
Like, how could you have an attitude about that? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? We don't know each other. And it's like, but even for her to say, like, I don't want you going over there and talking to nobody, like, girl.
Yeah. I mean, she was calling him her boyfriend. That's my boyfriend.
Girl. First of all, she's too old. And I mean that
too old to be doing this.
She's too old to be calling any grown-ass man her boyfriend. I am and I know y'all gonna think this is, when me and Joe were, like, together, like, dating earlier, like, you know, just a few years ago, well, I don't want to say that out loud, but after a certain age, I'm not calling you my boyfriend. This is Joe, and I'm Zar. And I used to tell him that. You don't get to call me, I'm Zar. Call me Zar. I don't like, no. I am either just Zar or I'm your wife. And that's just really how I feel. And I felt that way for a long time. Like, yeah, it don't mean nothing to me to be called, that don't level or garner no loyalty from me. It ain't gonna get you nothing more from me. Just call me Zar, and when you introduce me, call me Zar too. You know what I mean? And I felt like for her to say that, it's just like, this is the childish shit that people be going through. Like, y'all are weird.
The problem was that she doesn't even know him.
The bigger issue.
That's really what we're talking about here. We're not talking about,
bigger
like,
issue.
She doesn't know him, and she just met him, and then she went back after their conversation. She went back around the women and started telling them, "Oh yeah, that's my boyfriend."
And they were
all looking at her like, "What?"
Like, girl, are you for real?
But that's that thirst. That's thirsty energy too. Like, you know what I mean? That's not like, that's gonna be a red flag to somebody. Like, some dude's gonna be like, "Oh, like tomorrow we boyfriend and girlfriend already, and we just met, and we just sat down." Like, jokingly or not, it was a little bit of like desperation sprinkled in there.
It was a little bit of pick me.
Yeah.
Which
please.
I guess it could
Pretty
be
please. Thirst.
And, you know, a sprinkle of desperation. Because that's what it gave me. I really don't like people. Not even I don't like people. I think that's too big of a sentence. But I think it's something we should watch out for human beings who have that kind of energy. Like, in any room you in, you gotta
be the center of attention. That's the thirsty energy I was talking about. That's what I was saying about Sabrina.
I agree. The only other thing I wanted to ask you, because I'm just about done with this, but the only thing I wanted to ask you is, Walter said something that he said, do you believe you can have two soulmates?
No.
Why you answer so fast?
I didn't.
You don't believe, okay, so you believe you could be in love with two people at two different times in your life, but they both won't be your soulmate.
I don't believe that you get two soulmates in one lifetime. I just don't believe it. I also don't believe that part of my non-belief is that I haven't seen it or experienced it. So it could just be that, you know what I mean? Like, we speak from our experiences, right? So I don't claim to be an expert on anything. I speak from what I know, what I've seen, what I've experienced. I haven't seen it and I haven't experienced it. I believe that people can be in love with multiple people or have love for multiple people, because being in love is a whole nother thing too, right? That's a video for another day. But I think to say you have multiple soulmates, I don't know that I believe that.
I think that I appreciate his optimism.
Yeah, I do too.
I appreciate his optimism. Well, see, but then the argument could be, because I don't always believe that your soulmate shows up as a romantic person. Like, I think your soulmate could be like a friend, like a girlfriend, or like a, you know what I mean? Just somebody who you just are tethered to in some way. You know what I mean?
Do you think that everybody has a soulmate though?
Yes. I for sure, but I don't think it's always a romantic soulmate. Because I tell Joe this all the time. I don't think, and this, y'all might think this is sad or upsetting, but I don't believe that everybody is meant to get married for love. I don't believe that everybody has a super deep connection with their husband or wife, or are super deeply in love with their husband and wife. I think that people recognize the benefits of being married, and then that's what they do. You know what I mean? And what somebody asked that kind of question too, and it might have been Dante, where he said, like, I look at my friends. It wasn't Dante. It was some guy with messed up teeth. It was Naeem. It was like he said he spoke to, like, you know, I look at my friends and I wonder if they happy. They married, but I wonder if they happy. And I think that all of that is arbitrary, right? Like, because what you expect to get out your certain relationships, for some people, isn't that romantic love. For some people, it's something else. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I do think that everybody gets a soulmate, but hell, it might be a motherfucking dog. You know what I mean?
I can go with that.
You know, like, I don't like, but I think we're all meant to feel that type of energy with another person, whatever, right? But I don't necessarily believe that it always has to be romantic. But I also, lastly, want to end on this, babe. It bothers me. One thing that bothers me, y'all, and y'all know I love to talk about what get on my goddamn nerves. Why do it bother me when people talk about married people and how they ain't happy?
Because a lot of times, you know, it's from personal experience, that it's just a coping mechanism.
It's really whack. It's really, really, really whack. The only unhappy married people I know are like on the far end of unhappy. My thing is, like, being married is so much deeper than just like this marriage thing, right? It's like literally like your connection, your ability to connect with another human being. That is so deep in and of itself. You know what I mean? And so complex. So it is the hubris of people on the outside to look at your relation and say, are they even happy? You don't like.
It's just a defense mechanism.
It's mad annoying.
Because the other thing about that is, like, most of the time these are people who have
Joe got friends who say stuff like that
all the time. Most of the time these are, and because I know them, I can say this freely. I'm speaking from experience. These are people who, one, most of the time have never been married and never even experienced a serious relationship at any capacity vaguely close to marriage.
Right.
But they also are not people who never desired that, right? Like, any friend that I've had that I've heard say something like that have all been in relationships that could have potentially went to marriage that failed.
Because of them.
So they so they say it. They were never saying it while this potential marriage relationship was going on. They didn't say it before. They didn't say it during. It ended, and then it became this thing of it's not for me anyway. Like, you know, I'd rather be free and da da da. You know what I'm saying? Saying stuff like that. You know, so
it's just really fascinating. The point is that it's too many motherfuckers on this goddamn show for us to be talking about each and every person, okay? And we ain't doing it. We got shit.
Well, they cutting people left and right. It's
and
like
they got to hurry up.
Here. So
okay,
they already took 2 people off. Libba went off, and Lamont went off, and they're gonna dwindle it down every episode, which is gonna help us get to the meat and potatoes of it. Because right now it's just a free for all, and we need some structure. I hope they structure some dates, some events, some something to where it's not just everybody jumping off the deep end and doing things. Because when you are in the setting and you just release the hounds, everybody just goes back to their default, which is what led them to being on the show in the first place, which is what led them to being 45 and single, doing whatever the fuck they've been doing for the past 20 years. So why not step in and say, let's help them. This is an activity that you should do. This is give them some coaching, give them some counseling. Yeah. When Uncle Tommy comes in, he just asks questions. So what happened? Like, Uncle Tommy, where's your wife? Come in, counsel these people. You've been married for 40 years or whatever. Come in, counsel them. Give them some advice. Say, the only advice Uncle Tommy gives is you went around kissing all these women. You can't go around kissing all these women. Thanks. Can we get some substance here?
Yeah,
please.
I agree. So if you have not already, subscribe to this channel. We have to go and cook. I have to cook my husband some crabs. That's what I'm about to do. I hope you guys like this video. I guess hopefully the smaller the pool gets, the better these will get.
I think so.
Because this is rough.
It's always rough in the beginning, I think.
Yeah, it's rough, and so we're gonna go through the trenches with y'all. Let's stay on, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later.
Peace.